Good morning. My name is Jeff Lovejoy, and I'm a certified business coach with Action Coach. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Scott Williford from VLink Solutions. Morning, Scott.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'd love to learn a little bit more about VLink. Tell me about it.
So VLink is a video marketing company. So we help businesses and professionals create compelling video content, and then we help them maximize the engagement of those videos by helping them put them online the proper way. And then with the recent changes in our business world and the pandemic, we've also began doing and are doing a tremendous amount of virtual events and helping people create, whether it's a video conference or a high-powered webinar. We've been producing countless hours of content that goes through virtual event type environments. And we've even built our own virtual event platform that we're probably doing 8 events a month right now.
Wow. And Scott, are you focused on any one particular industrial niche or geographics, or how are you narrowing down the universe, so to speak?
So we have always really kind of focused on companies that are between $5 and $500 million in revenue. The reason that we do that is that, video can be very complicated. It can be very expensive. And by us providing a service that allows companies to afford video and have good high quality video, they still have to have the budget. So the reason the $5 million floor typically is that they have to have a marketing spend where video is a part of their marketing spend. Whereas if it's a larger company, it's more of how do we integrate into them. And that's pretty much the parameters. Geographically, Metro Atlanta, Georgia has been our predominant, but we've done work in Chicago and Florida, Texas, Annapolis. We were at the Kentucky Derby last year filming for somebody. So it really depends. And then as far as like industries, I have a tremendous network of technology companies, and obviously Atlanta's got a huge technology base, and so we do a lot of work with technology companies.
So the sole proprietor, the mom and pop operation probably doesn't have the budget, the marketing budget set aside for you, right? So I mean, if we're really looking for sweet spots, it's not the sole proprietors, the mom and pops. It's not the Delta Airlines. It's in between there.
Yeah, so we do a number of projects every year for smaller sole proprietor organizations, but to really do video marketing effectively, it's just like what you're doing. If you're going to do it effectively, you've got to keep doing it. And where we can drive the cost of a video marketing, the cost of per video down. If you're not going to do videos every quarter or every 6 months, then you're really not going to get the ROI that you expect. And so our typical client's going to spend anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 a year on video. Well, if my marketing budget is $30,000 a year, then the odds are I'm not going to spend that much. And so that's kind of why. Now, that being said, we've done work with organizations as large as Google and as small as Gary. And Gary's a personal friend of mine. And we did 6 little videos, part of a video series for him. His cost per video was less than $500 a video. But he didn't come back and feed the engine again. And so that content is sitting there. But predominantly when I'm hunting for larger budgets. And it's really just a matter of economics. It's not that I don't want to work with smaller organizations. It's just usually, if you're gonna look for clients, you want to look for clients that kind of meet your target profile. and that fits us well. Now with the virtual event stuff that we've pivoted on, which is now, 1.5 times what we would normally do in our video marketing arena. And we're still doing our video marketing. That's all come back since COVID.
Excellent. Good.
Mid-July, that started coming back. But we're doing work a lot with not-for-profits and membership organizations. We've done trade shows. We've done full multi-day conferences. We've done award galas and fundraising galas. We've done job fairs, and it's all because we pivoted early and really created a very powerful virtual venue, if you will, and that's the way we sell it. You pay by the day for the venue.
Got it. I want to get back to that pivoting because congrats on pivoting so early. When you say so are you're the guys that do the video work, and I'm sure it's highly professional. And then do you turn the video over to the client, or do you actually help the client help market the video, or is it some of both, or are they packages?
So we operate like another marketing agency might. I mean, we don't look at ourselves as a video production company. And if you've noticed, I've not said video production company ever. We are a video marketing agency. So we help from ideation and strategy production, because if you don't have a good plan, I mean, in your clients, you help them do a good plan, and then you make sure they follow that plan, or you help hold them accountable to follow that plan. So we start with the ideation, then we come up with the strategy of what's the target of this video and how are we going to distribute this video. Then we produce it. And then once produced, we have our own video marketing platform that hosts and manages that video and helps it get to drive engagement at the end of the day. So, I like to say we answer the question of what do I do with the video now? So a production company is going to give you a thumb drive and say, good luck. VLink Solutions, our whole strategy is, look, now not every client lets us help them there. They think they have all the right answers, but I can tell you those that do listen to us and do use us, then they will, leverage the tools that we give them and the expertise that we give them and get more engagement with their video content.
Thank you for clarifying that, because there's a lot of guys out there and women out there that are doing video work, the production work. They're, pay me X money and I'll film a video of you. You've taken it a step beyond that. So,
well, there's two things that we did when I started the company back in 2010. One is that most production companies, they operate on some type of, they either operate two different ways. They charge per minute for production. So if it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're going to pay anywhere from $1,500 to $25,000 per finished minute. Or they have a lot of line items where they'll have, camera rental and teleprompter rental and, lighting kit, and it becomes a fairly complicated invoice to review, and you really don't know what you paid for. And the way that we have taken it is we're a professional service. So we sell ourselves just like a lawyer or a CPA. A lawyer cannot do his job without his legal books and access to legal information. A CPA back in the day, they couldn't do their work without a 10-key calculator. And so our idea is that if I'm going to be producing video, I cannot do my work without a camera. So why am I renting you the camera? I can't do my job without a camera. So we sell our services like a professional service. And at the end of the day, you're paying an hourly rate for my professionals. And if I have a piece of gear in my inventory and we need it for that shoot, you get it. If I don't have a piece of gear that we need for that shoot or for that production, then I will either evaluate, am I going to use this more than 2 or 3 times? And if so, I buy it. And if it's going to be a one-off, then I'll tell the client, look, we're going to have a one-off situation here. Do you really want to do it that way? for example, if you said, hey, I want an aerial shot of my plant. Well, I don't have drone flyers, so I'll go contract a drone flyer. But if you said I need a helicopter shot of my plant, then I would say, all right, you're going to have to rent the helicopter. So, but that's the only time. And so our blended hourly rate's $125 to $150 an hour. We have studios that we don't have to go rent a studio. That's part of our business model. We have a studio in Marietta and Alpharetta, and what you may or may not know, we've now done our FDD and are starting to sell franchises. And so our plan is to develop a network of studios across the nation, so that when we have a client that needs a customer testimony shot in Charlotte or Texas or Chicago, we can refer them, or at least get our local VLink Solutions franchisee to shoot that video.
Congrats. I know a lot of work must have gone into that FDD. And being a franchisee, I understand how onerous those things are. So back in March, when COVID, or late February, when COVID started rearing its ugly head, what happened in that? I mean, did the phones just absolutely stop ringing, or what was the oh my God moment?
Well, so we were fortunate that we had some good clients who were necessary businesses that had projects underway. So we were doing a large project for a healthcare organization, and we were also doing a large project for a federal entity, let's just call it that. And so those two projects stayed. However, we had a number of clients who froze their budgets and froze their projects. And that was several $100,000 of business that was going to be, at the best case, delayed, worst case, gone. In some cases, it did leave. In other cases, it did come back afterwards. So about second week of March, first week of March, one of our nonprofit organizations, membership organizations that we had been doing a ton of work for over the years, reached out and said, "Look, we want to elevate our ability to do virtual events and virtual content. Will you help us?" And I said, "Well, we've been doing live streaming since 2013. We know how to do that. We streamed over 150 hours of content in 2019. Yes, we can help you." So what we started out doing for them was simply live streaming into a Zoom webinar and bringing the quality of the content up, and just bringing the production value up so that it was more engaging. We had a couple of other clients come to us and ask for the same thing. After probably a week or 10 days of getting into doing some of that, that same organization said, "We know we're going to have to start doing virtual events for some of our major events. Will you help us start to evaluate these virtual event platforms?" And I started looking at what people had done and said, none of this is technically challenging. If you already have a software development shop, which we do, because we have our own video marketing platform. So I just, reached into my technical side of myself and worked with my developers. And we made the decision to build what we call VLink events. We made the decision to build that probably March the 15th, we'll say, before the 20th. We did our first event on April the 9th. And now it did not have all the features that we have today, but we pivoted very quickly, and candidly, it was probably one of the smartest things that we could have done. That in through June was growing. Some of our mainstay clients were continuing. Revenue stayed about like it had the previous year, maybe even a little bit of growth. But candidly, we just had the biggest third quarter the company has ever had in its history.
Congratulations.
I've hired 16 people since July.
Wow. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
fabulous. That's fabulous. So you pivot, you recognized the situation very early on and pivoted very quickly. I mean, in a matter of weeks, you completely didn't completely, but you certainly added a new facet of the business. So
Correct.
you were very proactive versus some of those people that kind of sat back and waited. So you're to be commended.
Well, thank you. And what we, transparently, we had already been doing live streaming. What we needed was a way to make that engagement factor, because being a marketing company and thinking about marketing, how do we generate more engagement for our clients? And video is the tool that we've always done. So it was a logical step for us to take our technology experience and our marketing experience and then create a new methodology. And we're not the only people that are doing this. There's a lot of them. The benefit that we had that allowed us to pivot quickly is that there already are very high quality live streaming platforms out there. And so I didn't have to go build that. I licensed that. There already are high quality group chat and video chat tools. So I didn't have to build that. I licensed that. We kind of took a Frankenstein approach where we took best of breed tools, whether it was audience engagement with polling or surveying of the audience. We took best of breed live streaming technologies and incorporated that. We took best of breed chat and video chat and incorporated that. And we're releasing this week a version 2, because we kind of started with a minimal viable product, then we added all the other features. We did a big event in June, and that accelerated our marketing. People go to an event and go, wow, this was different than anything I've been on. I want to know more about it. And so we now are releasing version 2, and version 2 is including deep dive analytics. We call it the VLink engagement report, or the engagement report. And it will be able to tell exhibitors in our virtual exhibit hall who visited their booth and how engaged they were with their booth. So it tells that exhibitor who's the hottest lead. We also can provide that to the event organizers so that they can gamify their event and say, look, if you get an engagement score of X, then your name's gonna get into a hat and you could win a free trip, a free cruise in the future. And so that was a big thing. And then the other thing that we realized pretty quickly is that in a virtual event, people wander off. So if we went to the Cobb Galleria, for example, for an in-person event, we might take a phone call, but more than likely, if we're not going to the breakout rooms or we're not going to the main stage to hear the keynote, it's because we're networking with people. And what we found in having over 5,000 people come to events on our platform already is that people wander off and go on about doing some other work, right? They get distracted, they'll take an email, and before you know it, they're not even at the venue anymore, the virtual venue anymore. So we've now incorporated what is technically called a push notification that allows us to, with authorization of the user, remind them, hey, the keynote's about to take the stage, come back and watch the keynote. The exhibits are now open, go to the exhibit hall. And so it helps direct the users throughout the venue, but it also helps bring people back to the venue when they've wandered off, as long as they have authorized us to send them these notifications. And if I'm paying money to go to an event, I'm going to authorize that. And so we're releasing that this week. We've also done some gamification inside the platform so that you can, have Easter eggs. Easter eggs is kind of a term that they use in games, where you can click on things that you probably wouldn't think you could click on, and you'll find an Easter egg. And so we've done that throughout the venue as well, so that we can, again, gamify the experience with the whole goal of increasing engagement. And now that we have engagement reporting, we're able to really, tell the the attendees or the sponsors and the event organizers, how well did your event do?
Yeah, that's fabulous. Sounds like a lot going on, and all of it good stuff. So,
We have been quite busy. It's a crazy time in our nation and in the business community, and I don't have enough hours in the day, and that's the reason we've brought on more staff.
so Scott, it said that smart people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from the mistakes of others. What lessons learned can you share with the people that will see this, that to help them avoid making mistakes that they normally would have made without your advice?
Well, probably, especially now in this virtual world where companies are doing more Zoom presentations and the like, whether it's Teams, Zooms, Google Hangouts, I don't care. I would tell everyone that always be thinking about production value. Zoom fatigue is real. You do 6 Zoom calls a day, you are tired. Now we could meet and interact with people and never get tired. Like we could be in a conference room all day and continue to keep the energy level up. Well, the reason that is that right now, in order to present well, I'm looking at the camera the whole time and I'm glancing over at you. But in a real environment, there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more stuff that I'm paying attention to, and that's how my energy level stays up. With the virtual environment, because people are getting so fatigued, you have to elevate the level of your presentation. You can't just show up and throw up. I have seen way too many people show up with a slide deck, do a screen share, and before you know it, you're just seeing data, and your eyes just glaze over. And so, production value makes a huge difference in how you do stuff, and it's simple. I mean, in fact, I've got this on my desk. This is a very inexpensive. It's called an ATM. Blackmagic Studios, Blackmagic Design makes it. It's a 4-port input device that has a webcam output. So Jeff can buy one of these for $300. Take a decent quality camera, plug it into this, and that would be your camera view. But when you show your desktop, you would push a button and that switches. Instead of doing a screen share, you're literally flipping it to where now I'm streaming, just like I am video content. I'm streaming my desktop on my other computer. Very easily, I can do picture-in-a-picture, and I can have up to 4 inputs, and I can make it a lot more compelling. One of the big things that this does is that if I want to show a video on my Zoom or on my GoToMeeting, showing that through a desktop share always is going to have lag time that's unacceptable. It's going to drop to 15 frames a second or less. So it's going to look terrible, sound terrible. By using this, it'll come through at the same quality as you and I are talking right now. So just a simple thing, think production value. The other thing I would say is that relationships, and this is just business 101, you're a business coach, everything is about maintaining relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that client may be struggling right now, that, but at some point, we all hope that whatever normal we live in, that those businesses will survive. And if you continue to manage your relationships, don't panic, and continue to manage your friendships and your relationships, clients will come to you and say, hey, you solved this problem, I have that problem. That's what happened to us. I had a relationship with an organization whose primary business was events. They came to me because of my relationship with them and said, can you help us figure out how to do that? We know you know something about this. Can you help us? And of course, we were able to. And then we said, well, if they're having that problem, so's XYZ and ABC. So, it turned into an opportunity for us. And the other thing that I'll say to that is when I started out with our virtual events platform, VLink Events, my goal was to keep my production team busy. It really wasn't to create a whole new revenue stream. It turned out that we were good at it because we understood how to do a high level production. So we've had huge successes with the events that we've done. And a lot of that is because we focused on the production value and we happen to have a place to put it. But we did an event last week for a 2-day event last week that was not using VLink's platform. They used another platform. And we used the same techniques and tricks and best practices on production quality that we would had we been hosting the event. And the client was ecstatic. And again, it's focusing on doing what you do well, but thinking out of the box a little bit, but always valuing those relationships that you have, even in the midst. Help the fellow man, and it'll come back.
That's a great lesson right there. We've always heard that you got to build relationships. It's about relationships, but we can probably never hear that enough because we sometimes forget that simple principle. So.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And one other thing, Jeff, that I learned a long time ago is just a lesson learned, and is that I can lose a lot of sleep worrying about what the other guy's doing.
Yeah, right.
And so I have always taken the approach in my entrepreneurial experience of, I shouldn't say always, after 10 years of flopping around a little bit, so for the past 20, 25 years, I have really taken the approach of, there's going to be competitors. If I've got a good idea, somebody else has the same idea.
Yep.
I can either sit here and worry about the competitor, or I can worry about how am I going to do what I do really well at a top level and execute with excellence. And that's what's going to keep me ahead of the game. Yeah. And so that's the strategy that I've taken in this endeavor. It's like there's a lot of guys who have cameras that can shoot video, a lot. All you need to become a video production company is, a cell phone. I mean, there are people out there that are producing stuff with cell phones. We've taken the approach of we're going to do it with excellence. We're going to do it affordably, but most importantly, we're going to always help our clients reach their goals. We're thinking about what their objective is. And I found that by doing that, I continue to survive and thrive. I don't know what market share I've got, and candidly, I don't care. I'm really focusing on building good long-term relationships and maintaining those, so that most of my clients that come to do business with me will continue to do business with me as long as I meet and exceed their expectations.
Excellent. So Scott, tell people how they can reach out to you. How do they get in touch with you?
So the easiest way is to send us an email. That's by far the best way. It's swilliford@VLinkSolutions.com. So that's SWILLIFORD @VLink Solutions, and that's VLinkSolutions.com. Or info@VLink Solutions will land on my desk as well. Or call my cell phone, 404-229-7669. We're fine either way. I'm a busy guy. As Jeff knows, we had to reschedule this, but I will, and Jeff, you and I know each other, and I have a complete pay it forward attitude. So if I cannot provide you service, I'm going to help you the best I can anyway.
Perfect. And one last question. We're just, Scott, in 2 minutes or less, what inspires you these days?
That's a good question. I am very big right now on helping others who are less fortunate.
Love that.
My wife and I run a nonprofit. In fact, she's going to be here any minute now. We're doing a little video for our nonprofit. And so seeing folks that are not in the same position and having the same opportunities that I do has motivated me tremendously to help them see where those opportunities are and help them reach for those opportunities. Specifically, we run a nonprofit called The Table on Delk. It is a ministry to women and children who are currently or at risk of being sexually exploited on Delk Road in East Cobb. And we touch hundreds of lives every month. We've helped, over 50 women break free of the cycle of poverty and the cycle of being sexually exploited. And so it motivates me to see how that's going. And now with some of the civil unrest, there's a couple of organizations that we've started to really pour into. One of which I want to mention, it's called Inspire EDU. They are providing technology, helping to break that digital divide that happens between those that are in poverty and perhaps those of a different race than myself. And so they're going to large corporations who are literally throwing away laptops, taking those laptops in, preparing them to be used by a student in a family that may not be able to afford the technology. And with COVID and with the civil unrest going around, the racial injustices that have happened, it motivates me to see people like that doing stuff instead of just talking about it.
Yeah,
So,
good for you. Good for you. I love that. I love that. And I'm also I'm with the Buckhead Rotary and getting involved with the trafficking issues that we're kind of focused on as well. So you're to be commended. So
if you ever
hey,
want
listen.
a speaker to come talk about it, we'd be happy to do it.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you. Love the time. Thank you so much. And appreciate all your comments and some great lessons. The relationship building and the don't worry about what you don't have control over. Just focus on what you do have control over. Great lessons for everybody. So thanks for sharing, Scott. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.